Hey everyone, this is Mukesh Utwani once again from learn-automation.com. Today in this video we are going to talk about what exactly is element is not clickable at point exception and how we can fix it. Okay, so we'll talk about when it comes, okay, and how to resolve it. It is one of the most popular, or I will say the almost every single day you have to deal with this situation, because whenever you have to do some kind of click operation, definitely, or I will say in most of the time, you will face either stale element reference exception or element is not clickable at point exception. So before you solve this, you should understand why this exception comes for only for the click event. Okay, so in order to explain this, I have to take one site called KSRTC site. So if you notice here that we have a chatbot here, okay, and if I, okay, so let's say I want to click on this button called search for buses button, okay, and currently we are in this particular situation, like when I will try to click on the search for buses, but we have one another, I will say, web element which is nothing but a chatbot. So when you try to click on it, right now it is working and you can see it says please select a start date because we haven't filled anything. But when you try to do the same click via Selenium, it will say element is not clickable at this point because some other element have received the click. It means you actually want to click on this button, but since this element is overlapping, it will throw exception, and it will also show you on what element it clicked. Okay, that is the beauty of Selenium. Another example which I can give, let's say this example of Orange HRM. When you try to click on version, did you notice it is also overlapping another field called subversion? When you click on subversion, it is also overlapping currency. So let's say if this subversion is enabled or this drop down is enabled, and when you try to click on currency, it will fail because currency is like subversion is overlapping the currency field. So whenever you have this kind of scenario that one element is overlapping, so either you should first select this and then go here, or else you need to change the UI. In this example, if you see, when I maximize, it is coming perfectly fine, I can directly click. But when I have screen minimized, or when this chat option is moving around, right, it can create issues. So let me show you one by one. So let me create one package called, let's say, exception demo. Let me create a fresh class, um, exception 1. It's an interesting scenario because this click event always throws two exceptions. So if you don't understand what is the reason, you cannot fix it. And this is one of the most, or else the frequently asked question in interviews as well. So let's open this application, which is case RTC, and let me click on that search for buses button. Okay, so I will just write a XPath for this. You can see we have a button. So I will try to find a button which contains the text search for buses, right? So it will match with one unique element. So we'll launch the browser, open this application, click on this particular button, and this is my system.setProperty. Now ideally it should click. Now let's right click, run as Java application. Okay, it started our session, and it opened KSRTC. Yes, yeah, Did you notice we haven't maximized via code? We are actually trying to click on search for buses, but this chatbot is coming, which is need help, ask Vani. And just notice here it says line number 17 failed perfectly fine. And now if you try to read this, it says element is not clickable at this particular point. They have given the x and y coordinate as well. And this is very interesting. Other element would receive the click. They are also giving the web element would receive the click. So in our case, it received the click in the chatbot. So if you see this particular widget, right, it's a separate widget. So if you just want to cross verify, this is nothing but this chatbot itself. Just find the ID, just to control F here, and okay, so this is for this particular chatbot. It means they are overlapping. So what we can do in order to avoid this? If you see the normal logic, that if I maximize it will work, because that particular moment they will not overlap. So if I say driver dot manage dot full screen, manage dot windows dot full screen, definitely they will not overlap, and in that case it will not throw any exception. So right click, run as Java application. And it should click on that button this time because they are not overlapping. See, it worked. Okay, so understand the root cause, what is causing the issue, and then you can easily fix it. Now if you notice that exception which we discussed, that is actually a WebDriver exception. So WebDriver exception is the parent class for all the exceptions which we have in Selenium. So here you will get all the exception like stale element reference exception, timeout exception, no succession exception, not found exception, and screenshot exception, and many more. So we don't have any specific class for this, like element not clickable exception. It is a part of WebDriver exception. Okay, so whenever you have this kind of scenarios, okay, just make sure that they should not overlap. Okay, because if you go with currency, it will never throw any issue because this is not overlapping. Subunit also will not throw any exception because they're not overlapping, but this version might throw because it is overlapping subversion. Subversion is overlapping currency. So before you move to the next, make sure you select the values, then it should not overlap, and then you can continue. Okay, so just put a small logic, and you can handle this exception without any coding. Okay, you just have to play with sometime with the XPath. Sometime you need to add like we added maximize, right? In a way, same way you can minimize the control, maximize the browser window. You can play with the code. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. It was like very quick because we don't have much thing to cover. In the upcoming videos we'll talk about the different kind of exceptions and how to handle them. Okay, so if you have any query, just shoot an email to my email id, which is mukesh@learn-automation.com. and if you like this video, please share with your friend, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.